Hello and welcome to the Pirate King Plays Genshin Impact. Where last we left our heroes, we're about to finish the Archon quest. So let's see what happened. That prophecy that they've been so worried about finally came to pass. Finally happened. Starting with, Poisson flooding here, which is why the bridges look horrible now. But it looks like the people have mostly come back. No one dissolved into the water, though, because right before the flood happened, Folklore, the Hydro Archon, the actual Archon alter ego of Farina, who was a human playing the role of the Hydro Archon, destroyed herself and the seat of the Hydro Archon, giving the power back to the Hydro Dragon Sovereign, Neuvillette, who, right before the flood, forgave the people of Fontaine of their original sin of being turned into humans from Oceanid, or Oceanids, as they pronounce it. It was a whole thing. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy how it was written. It was really cool, and it had to do with outsmarting the gods, so that was cool. But we also fought a giant narwhal, from Beyond the Stars, who had been feasting on the waters of the Primordial Sea, and therefore, when it broke through into the surface, it went after the people of Fontaine, being that they were turned into humans from Oceanids by having primordial seawater injected into their veins. So, yeah, no, it was involved. It was really well done. And now we're on the finale. Also, the Fatui helped, for the most part, which was interesting. Oh, yeah, we're with Charlotte. Okay. I didn't remember that part.
Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the Fatui are here too. Let me introduce you.
Oh, without his mask.
This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the Knave in sending us a large amount of supplies, and is helping with our work. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
It sounds a lot like charity, though.
Keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friendly neighbors?
That would be fine. Thanks.
Just don't name the Fatui.
Oh,
Our organization is normally bad guys. Fatui are normally the bad guys. But in this case, it's specifically the Fatui under the Harbinger, the Knave, who is also known as father to a group called the House of the Hearth, which is an orphanage that are trained in the ways of the Fatui, and a bunch of them, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine, are from Fontaine. So this is like, yeah, no, I'm helping my children. I am helping my children, and therefore I am helping all of you. So we're on the same side for this story.
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clarant?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material there, I bet.
I mean, that was just a part for her
Forget
to play.
it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
Ah,
Oh, I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
no.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Chlorand at any rate.
Of course I
How-
will. I'm
how
not
do
gonna
they-
let 'em off that easy.
Yeah.
All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up and smile.
Okay. I can understand her name being pronounced Chlorand, or Chlorend. But it's spelled Chlorind. They keep saying Chlorand. And the way Navia just pronounced it was so far off that, like, Chloriand. I don't even fucking know. It's spelled so differently than how they're saying it, and I don't like it. I'm gonna keep pausing to complain, I don't know. Hey, there we go.
Was it a good shot? Did Paimon look cute in it? Not
Paimon, you
bad.
look adorable
Repetition
until you
really
speak.
helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots.
Charlotte takes more pictures of Poisson. Clicking shutters.
All right, that should
whatever.
do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you after all, Miss Clorand.
Wow, you really do have that never say die spirit. I'm impressed.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Maripede.
You already knew she was going.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillet, and he told you, right?
They always put an R in
That's
Novelette's name as well.
Very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was,
That's more like it.
when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move first.
Oh yeah, Risley
Stay
helped
safe
construct
now.
a flying ship,
Tell
which
me
was
if you hear
really
anything
cool.
interesting.
But once again,
I'll
we only
treat you
got a
to afternoon
glimpse.
tea in exchange.
Oh, we're going to the fortress, huh?
You seem curious about the fortress.
Of course. That Risley. I still remember going down to the fortress to grill him for information on my father's case. Boy, did he take me for a ride. Without telling me anything, of course.
But he did invite you to tea, didn't he?
2 large pots of it, in fact. It was good tea, though.
I have to agree. The tea there is very good.
Speaking of that, would you like to have some today? I mean, you've got time, right?
Well, I'd be partial to some shortbread.
Wow, it's like we've got a menu or something. Sure.
Good.
What flavor of biscuits would you like, Mr. Snezhevich?
Me? I'm fine with anything. But I would prefer chocolate, should you have it.
All right, leave it to me.
I'll go over the newly arrived supplies with you later, Mr. Snezhevich. We should be able to finish the preparatory work today.
That works great for me.
Is it just me, or did you get a new lipstick?
I did. It was a gift from Sijuin. Want to give it a try? I think the color would suit you, too.
They're just chatting. Alright. To the fortress! Plan today is to finish this. Oh, we're right into it. Finish this, then
Wow, guess
story
we're here
quest.
again, huh? There's a real nostalgic feeling to this place.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke, did you come all the way to the entrance to greet us?
Looks around.
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse recommended to me.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress, sir.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Like, oh, sure is. Lorvine. You know, the ones who
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the photos we need.
they made the ship.
Miss Charlotte, do these pictures really need to be published on the cover of the Steambird?
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier,
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important to you then?
No, I just... This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the Steambird for...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on. The boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend. Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that loss?
She really does know how to squeeze opportunities for all they're worth.
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple?
Called it.
Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. We've seen this kind of thing before. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this new drink I came up with?
Ah, Sigewine.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, sure. Come on, Miss Sigewine, over this way. Let's find a brighter spot.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So,
Literally
how
drawn
has
into
been
your
at the
face. You
fortress?
can't not.
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
It got as
That's why
much
I decided
attention
to let
as
the
it was
interview go
going to
through.
get.
We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurier? Miss Lorvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that, which is a pity.
Ha.
I'll just leave the spotlight to you two.
He has a damn good design, but they also said, nah, he doesn't like
See?
being in the spotlight.
Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding
The
that
tie's kinda
harbinger,
useless,
I'm
though.
not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about you? Are things gonna change for you too?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Yeah, Nouvelette was mostly in charge anyway. Now he's just more in
In that
charge.
case, let's call it a day here.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, traveler, let's go. Till next time, everyone.
There'll be a next time?
Wait, who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time. Until then. All right, last stop, the docks.
Say? No? Alright, cool. Maritime Harbor. So, I wanted to point this out last time, and I kind of forgot to do so. You see this line here? Which you can also sort of see around here. Oh, this is probably going to be the next area they release, if they do it all. Or maybe over here, who knows. But here's the thing about Fontaine. It's on a plateau. It's... Oh, they want us to go down. Yeah, but... Look at this. Fontaine is above everywhere else. But it flooded. This incredibly high up nation flooded. Of all the nations for that to happen to, sure, it makes sense for it to be the Hydro nation. But it's so high up. It didn't even look like. No wonder it receded so quickly.
Here. How did you know?
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time since.
Wait, they're still doing that?
Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket? What sort of gadget is it? It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for you. Trick a friend? I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
Hey.
You could just make a
Too
friend
long.
like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by I'll help you make some more friends?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
No.
Sure.
You sure are working hard to help Fermine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Sounds like that would suit him.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Ah,
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show eventually.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to take a picture of us.
Got it.
honestly, having the diver
My, that
escape from
Charlotte
something
is rather
underwater
perceptive.
makes
She
a lot
got
more
rid of everyone
sense.
the moment she realized I had something to say to you. So, how have things been, traveler?
Yeah, it makes more sense to have a diver be the one to escape something underwater, because then you don't have to worry about him breathing. Doing alright.
Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
That's all right. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Oh, I guess you haven't heard.
Well, isn't she
Well,
assisting with the...
After Lady
What's
Farina
all?
left, Father and Monsieur Nervillet opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
Oh. Well, at least in this case, they don't need the Gnosis anymore. Because there's no more Archon.
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit irresponsible?
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Nervillet has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
So there's some reason for this that only Nervillet knows about?
Wait, here's my guess. The Gnosis Since the Hydro Archon seat was destroyed and all of the power was returned to Nouvellette, the Gnosis is nothing more than a useless trinket. That's my guess.
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Meripede a while back.
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't think he'd have the time for that. But back to the topic. The Gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Well, I guess now I guess I can now call him one of my war buddies.
That's true.
Yeah.
When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
Right?
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Is that the knave? Yep.
Father!
Look how it's in
Well,
quotes
well,
anytime.
what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks. Switching my masks is something I've always done.
So, we've noticed that all the different nations of Teyvat are loosely based on different nations or areas of the Earth. And while Fontaine is France, pretty much, Snezhnaya is pretty much Russia. It's all by all the names. It's so cold there. They're also set up to be mostly the bad guys in this game. And they have this whole goal of collecting all of the Gnosis. A Gnosis is a vision of an Archon. So while a bunch of people have visions which give them elemental powers, the Gnosis is the evolution of the vision, which is what happens when someone ascends to become an Archon. And they're collecting them, whether by theft or negotiation. The first time we find this out, they steal it from the Animo Archon. They steal his. I believe they were able to take it as some form of negotiation in Liyue. I don't remember how they got it in Inazuma. And Sumeru may have also been part of an exchange. Seems it was an exchange here too. But they will take them by any means, and we still don't entirely know why. And it's worrying. Will you keep to your position?
Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
And that makes for two of the Fatui Harbingers that we consider mostly friendly. Which would be her and Child. Also, that's Child's vision. Actually, I just remembered something. Please help us deliver this.
A vision? All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
He was fighting in there with his delusion rather than his
That's
vision.
a wrap for me. Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
Remine.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met too. And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own paths.
Time is a flat
and
circle.
serendipity will lead you to your fated friends. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so we'll get going now.
From what I can tell,
Have a
they're
good
just
day, you
bags.
Well,
Are they like a bag of holding, maybe?
Shall we go see what Neverlette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
Oh, by the way, one interesting mechanic that they added for Fontaine, which I really like, is the ability to swim underwater, and that swimming has a different stamina bar and you can no longer drown. However, outside Fontaine, it's still this, and we can't dive. It is really annoying. You can see the difference in color of the water, I guess, but I really wish we could swim elsewhere instead of just in Fontaine. But that would make them, that would mean they would have to add in underwater stuff to everywhere else on the map. Sure, they put some visual stuff down there, but not really, anything to do. Also, yeah, this Melusine here, I didn't know until I saw it on my map, but talk to her and you actually get an artifact. Normally, if people give you something when you're just talking to them, it's just some random collectible items like materials or whatever. But that was an actual artifact, like a 4-star artifact.
Fortress! Ooh, he really is there!
You'd think he would have walked away from there by now. It is a very picturesque place to walk, at least.
So, you really are here, Neverlet? I didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the day.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
Yeah, we saw it in a cutscene, but the characters didn't see it.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
Let's sigh softly before telling you the truth concerning what he saw that day. Focalord deceived the heavenly principles and used Farina's endless performance to save them.
Whoa. So that's what happened?
I only saw Farina's part myself.
Focalord destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
For
No
me,
sense.
the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
You could say that it was at that moment that Fontanians were finally, truly born.
Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too!
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
This is how we know we're right at the end. About the initial verdict that was passed on Child.
I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Fossilor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Fossilor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got another question. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon...
Wait.
Gets it now? Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
Wait. So, the Oceanids who were dissolved in the primordial sea would, and those who would die of old age and return to the primordial sea, were reincarnated as new children? But now that they're true humans, it'll be true human children. Oh, that's a lot to take in.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About Fontaine's future.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Fossilor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest.
Yeah.
Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal.
Oh yeah,
But
she is
now that
beyond
she no
burnt
longer has
out.
to play the role of Fossilor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Fossilor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem. which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
Oh.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About Fontaine's Gnosis.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine.
Yep.
If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
Well, that
Ask
too.
away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About the next step on my journey.
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
Ah, is that our next one?
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A
Also the
nation of
Pyro
dragons?
Nation.
You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity.
Cool.
Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame.
Not so cool.
There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Knave that I believe may be useful to you. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Alright, so that's our new Harbinger.
Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
I have no more questions.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still got a question about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Lenny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Such a strange name. See it, huh?
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, all right, Nervalet?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
The what?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since.
So most of the
Oh?
information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
That makes more sense. So at one point, Neuvillette will receive a message from Child.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
Yeah.
All the same,
Question.
assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth,
Interesting.
then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
Huh. Descender. She mentioned it. I am the fourth descender. For me, this information means two things. One, that the Gnosis are related to descenders. And two, that the one who came before me has already died.
I guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender.
Wait, what? No. Oh, okay. So, some Genshin Impact backstory here. Beginning of the game, the Traveler and his sister were fighting against what we later came to know as the Heavenly Principles, and were defeated and sent down onto Teyvat. As we have learned throughout the game, our sister appeared on Teyvat hundreds if not thousands of years before we did. So we were outside of time when this happened. And we've been learning some of what she has done in the past, and that she may have actually teamed up with the Abyss, which has to do with the previous civilization and the Hilichurls. So pretty much the bad guys, which is why it's odd. Right, our character is technically named Aether, and his sister is Lumine. And if we're the fourth descender, that would likely mean Lumine is the third descender. Which would mean these are her remains? In the Gnosis? Which also, what he's saying right here about there being exceedingly element compatible, Aether here has absorbed what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements now? We're on our 5th element, and we'll get the 6th one in Natlan, which would be Pyro. Looking forward to that one. So are the Gnosis the remains of our sister? But I thought she actually appeared at one point.
I wonder. Does your body also possess similar properties?
Yes.
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right? No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels traveler to the dead third descender and all?
Don't worry, I won't die so easily.
That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the answers that way.
Yeah, she's not coming down to the surface, though.
It's unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Fair.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems like the crisis here in Fontaine's over for now.
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will.
Can you understand the will of the gods?
I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what ultimately is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Masquerade of the Guilty. Complete. Hey, quest complete. Before I do anything else, do you have anything to say?
It seems from your expressions that you still
it's
have
the
more.
same thing.
Ask away.
Shit.
I will tell you the truth as I know it. I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going.
Okay, yeah, so Natlan is the next thing. It's wrong about, hey, we might expand the map in these directions. Nah. It's... wherever it's expanding, it is toward the next country. Oh, that's the last one! We're full constellation here. Oh. Interesting. Yeah. The hydro element for the Traveler has not been very good. Let's grab this. And this. Story. Here we go. The Little Oceanid. Oh, I see how that works now. Ah, go to the Adventurers Guild. Well, I need to go there anyway to pick up my commission reward. Let me grab a thing first. Over here. Still got it quite a bit to level 7. So I have this quest. I haven't seen any of those, and this one I think might show up soon. No, that's
Commissions? Specifically one with a huge Moor attack, perhaps?
You didn't have to be so direct.
Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
But
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues and is currently unable to perform the role. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties, so unfortunately they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
what kind of commission is that? Is it like, yeah, we need a replacement, but we can't pay you? Who's gonna accept that?
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right.
Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show. And delays tend to create all sorts of new problems.
Wait, but how would they even rehearse for that in a few days?
What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
I do. But also, yeah, I do, so I can tell you, only a few days to rehearse is bullshit. You're gonna have to send them up on stage with the script, else it's not gonna work. Also, we know who we're going for here. It's Farina. Of course it is. Very true.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? He's right over there. Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution. Maybe there's something he hasn't thought of.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon.
Got it. We'll go talk to him.
Hyman approves. Let's go. Hello there. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Wait. Oh,
Wow,
hold on.
sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame.
Can't you cover the budget for a new actress with ticket fees?
That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe. One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it.
Catherine mentioned that one of your actresses can't make it.
Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood, and unfortunately, it flared up again recently. It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas. What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
Couple
Please,
billion?
There's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
More isn't the biggest problem. How do we find someone who's a good fit for the role?
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... you know who?
Great minds think alike. I was just thinking that.
That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have all the free time in the world right now. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
Yeah, but now that she's
Who
no
are you
longer...
thinking of? Sounds like someone famous.
But now that she's no longer required to act as her daily life, do you really think she wants to act on stage? You know, actually, now that I think about it, it might be good to play a different role. Farina.
Her? You're... That was a joke, right?
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon
All Fontaine's a
told me that she'd
stage
be
for
really
her.
good at it.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before.
Oh, really?
They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Farina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
You want the show to go ahead, don't you? Aren't you prepared to do whatever it takes?
Well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Farina star in our show. I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her.
Only we knew where she is.
Things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Let's go. It'll be good to check in on her anyway.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news. Good luck.
Wait, where does Farina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved out, right?
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Okay.
Woo! When did you get here?
We were right next to her.
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Farina. Back in a jiffy.
Little Ocean.
I can't believe they're seriously asking Lady Farina. Seems a little over the top.
Try not to worry. May I pour you a glass of water?
Oh, not far at all. Oh, she's just in a house over here now?
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just, a bit of a step down from the Palais Mermonia.
Everywhere is.
You know,
Everywhere is.
It's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags.
Oh man, she sounds so different.
A much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too.
Don't you get sick of macaroni every day?
Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
Is it because you have to do all your own cooking now?
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity! It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre faucilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace. Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad!
Paimon was just showing concern for your well.
Yeah, exactly! What the Traveler said! Paimon wasn't... Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
That's not important. We actually came here to ask you for your help.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Really?
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Not you, then no one. The only person for the job.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific?
You tell Frien about the troop's plans and for its final performance.
I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities. But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
That makes sense.
Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me. Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
So, that's how you really feel.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help.
You shouldn't assume the worst of people. What's wrong with making one exception?
True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Ooh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it. Nope, not happening.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the guy we're working for.
Have I not made myself clear? You're
Yeah.
barking. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
It's all right, Farina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
Let's try to come up with a plan B.
Yeah, I
You're
guess
guilting
that's
her
all
into
we
it
can
now.
do
Farina. Come on.
All right, then. We'll see you around, Farina.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
Yeah, she does kind of have to learn how to make actual relationships with people now, doesn't she? Because she no longer have to worry about the role she's playing all the time.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Farina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. New person.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
Oh shit.
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Farina go?
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always the dream, of course.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Imagine if we had managed to convince Farina to join, only for her to find out she's no longer needed.
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Farina really so harsh with people?
Not really,
Only
no.
joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
Yeah, you should have.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
Paimon, wait here a second.
Sure.
Yo.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list.
That wasn't
All right,
choreographed very well.
No need to drag me. Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation just now.
Farina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
Why didn't you just show yourself? Why didn't you just show yourself?
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Farina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as Lady. Just Farina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in this serial disappearances case.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Farina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can, but despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart.
Well, I've retired from acting, but that doesn't mean I've retired from directing. That would be a nice change of pace now, wouldn't it?
It's agonizing, but ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
That's so sad.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Farina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them?
A verdict can bring emotional catharsis. They come pouring out, flow away into infinity.
An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before.
Could you say, for example?
And so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Ah, still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
Come on!
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
Ah, the name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you
Paimon, what
be
the
willing to
fuck?
join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Since it's you, I'll do it. Especially since it's related to the serial disappearances case.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Farina's performances, as of course we all are. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
I feel like it's eventually going to turn into Farina becomes the director of this small troupe. Which, honestly, I really like that idea. That's a great way to kind of reintroduce her to society. No, I think the one below is Oh. We built a location for this quest. How quaint.
Huh? Lady Farina?
What's Lady Farina doing here?
Hello, all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Farina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Farina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying The Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Finding an actress was the least of your problems.
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human, and sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage, but people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script, but the deadline's passed and we still haven't heard from him. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh.
How have any of you learned any of this
Now that
yet?
we have Miss Farina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way.
I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson.
Oh. Is something wrong?
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So allons-y. To Poisson!
Allons-y. You're actually in here. Also, if these doors open inward, that box is gonna get in the way.
You're off to Poisson to find Paulo, right? Have a safe trip. We'll take care of the troop while you're gone.
This is one hell of a black box theater. There is no backstage. This little bit over here is the backstage.
Pressure's on now. We gotta make sure we're fully prepared.
There's barely room for an audience. This room is mostly stage. Why do they have one of those? It's not a movie. Le Poisson. Again, why bother with the road? Why bother with the walkways when we can fucking glide?
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking...
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Farina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Nope.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Farina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Got it, Navia. Thank you.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me, which, of course, I completely understand and accept.
I'm sure people didn't buy Navia's lie.
Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
Maybe you've taken on a bit too much in one go?
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Not staying quiet either.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there.
Overhear things as we walk. How's it so haphazardly made? Try putting them at least in a concrete grid.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll, and here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
You didn't say anything while we walked up
We
here.
don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Yeah, when you were acting, it was annoying as shit.
Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
Don't be so harsh on yourself.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Think of your freedom as your reward.
A reward?
Because now you can finally speak your heart. You don't have to be anguished and alone anymore.
I guess so. And back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Farina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
What Paimon meant to say was she doesn't like to see you so down. Do you feel better? Have you gotten all this off your chest?
I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure, okay, let's
I mean, he's been working on it for how long?
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
You're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines, too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Farina.
Farina? The Farina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human, against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover and the rest of humanity.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well,
Prove them
she
wrong.
mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
Wow.
Sounds like too cruel
Yeah.
of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible to present to the audience.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death, both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with Aurelie.
What? You kept that one quiet.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Oh, Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by Aurelie. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Villemont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Oh, he's just up here, huh? Probably a building.
This is
Oh, that
tough
wasn't there a
going.
moment ago.
Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
Yeah, that building wasn't there a moment ago. Oh, wow. It was a lot farther from the spot than I expected it to trigger.
As if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Farina in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Farina said so herself.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as the more brave and...
Yeah, we got it.
Too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Farina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Yeah, seriously. It won't even be us that's fighting. Yoink. Interrupted my combo, but I still got rid of your shield. I get what? Oh, great, there's more. Alright, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, alright. You assholes jumped out of the way! That's okay.
Oh, good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Okay. Yeah, the path as we walk straight up a mountain.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Farina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
Dolphy explains the whole sequence of events so far.
You think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone?
Yeah?
I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience.
Some were hearing
Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Oh.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I remember that it induces a state of euphoria, but it also causes significant harm to the body.
I freaked out when I saw the boxes, and I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then?
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe, and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
You brought the director to the attention of the synth dealers. Your mistake gave them a motive to kidnap and murder her.
Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean you were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her. How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life. And he has the
Didn't
gall
feel
to
the same
try
way.
and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight. Go, get lost. I don't ever want to see your face again.
There's something to be said for an argument between actors. Just putting that out there.
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating.
I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
It might actually be possible to find out more about her fate.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
Okay. Look for the former troop director's building.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
Interesting. Since a staff member retrieved the box for release for
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women.
Wait, so if we had found this before...
Examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vachey's guilt.
Vachey took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators.
And we never found it during the
Wait,
investigation.
It cuts off.
Something wrong?
Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Someone else was taken. That makes 6. Or perhaps the 7th? Someone tried to escape yesterday, but was caught. She hasn't been seen since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. I've long since lost track of time. Sorry, I don't know if writing this is of any use, or how much longer I can do it for. I can already see my fate approaching, but what terrifies me even more is the thought of seeing others from the troop here. Have I truly protected them? Sorry. I'm so sorry. I can write no more. I think I have a fever and my old stomach troubles have returned. But nobody has given me any medicine. I suppose I'm more fortunate than Cressy. The pain keeps her awake at night. I suppose they think that anything goes so long as the experimental subjects. I suppose they think that anything goes so long as the experimental subjects can be used up before they die. It's so damp here. I've given her my blanket. It's so cold. So cold. As long as one persists, all things will pass. There'll be a reward for hard work. I like to tell them such things, but it's I who am losing my grip. If anyone sees this, true, save, important, please, farewell, apologize, life, perform, future, regret. Cleo. The page is an absolute mess, and the writer's pen seems to have wandered its surface at random. Only some words can be made out, and barely at that. From this page onward, the diary stops, to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are the form of newspaper clippings, others are handwritten with many crossings out and changes. It is apparent that the pages have been referenced often, and that this was the personal notebook of artistic director O'Reilly.
She was so terrified.
She watched a girl get dissolved right in front of her, and had to wait for her own death in silence.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
Flipping through the notebook, the lyrics continue. However, one page has been torn out, folded up, and placed next to the last blank page. At the bottom of the folded note, there are 2 lines Aurelia has written, in handwriting much more legible than before. But it seems that they took her both great effort and a great deal of time to write. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want? Because I am an older sister to them. I love them.
If you become human,
you're going to read it now.
Your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this still what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love. And she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
It's funny to me how quickly I abandoned the card game once it stopped. Keep seeing stuff about it on the map. Oh, you can climb the door, okay. After reading through the notebook, some are lost for words, some weep bitterly, and some grind their teeth and howl with rage. A long time passes before the group is able to come together and finally make a decision.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance, to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
A bit blunt there, Paimon.
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Farina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage.
No.
By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
This is like telling a community theater troupe. Yeah, by the way, I'm gonna go and book Broadway for you. Excuse me? Have you seen our normal stage? We play in a basement. We built our set out of wooden pallets and broken TVs. And you want us to play on Broadway?
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Believe in yourselves. Go big or go home.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you?
I mean, we're gonna have to get some different props. We built everything
I'll
for this
take your
tiny
silence as a
stage.
yes.
That thing's huge.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me.
Oh, jeez, don't put it that
If
way.
you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Neuvillette. I know just where to find him.
During the final scene, maybe we should stop the music just before Cleo takes the stage?
First Miss Farina, now the opera epiclese? If only the director was still with us.
Hey,
Then it
come
wouldn't
on.
have happened.
There's no point in dwelling on that now. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you're right. Now's not the time to get all melancholy.
Also, why is there a bed in here? Does someone also live here? Do one of you also live here? Oh, can't talk to you right now.
Best of luck to you.
Let us talk to him, but he didn't actually have anything to say. Oh, here he is.
Hey, look at that. Looks like I guessed right.
I somehow guessed. Yeah, but this is kind of just randomly out and about.
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Farina. And you too, traveler in Paimon.
Not
what
really.
might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
You share the story of the Little Oceanid with Neuvillette.
I understand.
The backstory.
The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the Little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them, so I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But one thing led to another, and, well, here we are. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom, but I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame
not
if
modeled
you did
after
not
her.
take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions. Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though,
I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervalette.
You are very welcome. Many people were once enthralled by Lady Farina's performances, myself included. I hope that one day she'll be able to understand that our appreciation was always sincere.
He's just a good character. Honestly. Right, where are we going? Oh, back there. Can I glide there from here?
Good news, everyone. It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, but we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's amazing! Even though Farina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
I'm really looking forward to this final production.
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Accursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
The paper water.
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time.
Would have expected us to be in the audience. What the hell?
If only.
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Why? Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing
No.
your symptoms?
Yes.
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
Miss Farina, I'd like to make a request of you.
Called it.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
Thank you, Miss Farina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
And also this costume, because it'd be weird if you walked out there not looking like the character. Oh, nope, there she goes. Nope, just walking out in full Farina. Alright, but hopefully she's actually going to sing here.
Is she here yet?
Oh, it's one of these.
Must it get here? She's not coming.
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle est nourrie, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je suis, serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté.
Well, that was fucking beautiful. I think I'd actually heard that song before on Spotify. I hadn't realized this is where it was used. That was in French. I wasn't expecting that.
Is it just me?
Makes sense.
Or was that Lady Farina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognized me.
They all did.
It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that, despite
We're up there too?
everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Farina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Farina after all.
She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
That's a good rule! That's a damn good rule!
Yes, I know the rule, but it should still be applied on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't ready for this yet.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
At most, you might be asked to sign a few autographs later.
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack.
Yeah, did she just get a vision?
Where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh, that.
There it is.
I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, you have a vision
The audience
now.
has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
Huh. Are you gonna let us interact with the audience?
Did anyone see where
Mizuno.
Miss Farina went? Oh, I want to get her autograph, but I can't find her anywhere.
He's from Inazuma. Interesting.
I thought Cleo's actress sang very well. Why did they swap her out at the end?
I don't know. Maybe that's just how it was scripted.
No. Totally unscripted, and it's because she was sick. Not them. Find the groups of people we can actually listen to.
I wasn't expecting such an incredible performance from an amateur troupe. They didn't seem out of place on the big stage at all.
Yeah, their technique could use some polish, but the performance in general felt very believable. Hit all the right emotional notes. I think it'll stay with me for a while.
What a surprise! Seeing Miss Farina on the stage? This ticket was money well spent.
Yeah, I agree. Say what you want about her, but she's flawless when she's on stage.
Alright, that seems to be everyone, unless there's people upstairs, which I don't care enough.
you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Farina was on the stage. You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first thing tomorrow morning.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end. I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say that you made your mark on this memorial show.
Well, one way or another, we did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note. That's all that matters.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up all the time.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
Yeah, we saw that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
Yeah, about
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't want to. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the Little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
Hey, you can still disband and license the script. Like,
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Farina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Farina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go, until I finally acquiesce. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole experience has shown me that perhaps I'm not as averse to a return to the stage as I previously imagined. Maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all.
there's no need to draw lines in the sand. Just do whatever feels right to you.
Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered long into the future. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Next time, I'll invite you to join me.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
Little Oceanid.
I mean, of course I have some regrets, but
There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future for us to tell the stories that we want on stage.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, I've got an interview with the Steambird to get to. Thanks to all your help, the show was more perfect than we ever could have hoped for. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me the chance to finally say farewell to Aurelie.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power. And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands. Is that how humans feel about it as well?
Okay. And there we have it. Now, I believe that's it. Yeah, there's no hangout quests or anything. Just, yeah, we're done with story quests. We're done with the Archon quests. We're done with Genshin Impact for now. Okay. And all the other stuff I'll be doing off stream, like chests and doing world quests.
Ad Astra.
Of course, the daily
Thank
stuff.
you for
which gets me
completing.
this. Ooh, right before we go, let's see here. I don't think I... Oh, right! It's a new month, which means I get these. And that makes 10. We'll do this one again. Yep, that's 7 over there. So we'll end with a wish. Why not? And half an hour early. Jeez. Emerald Orb. Blood-tainted Greatsword. Young Ling. Useless! Slingshot. Black Tassel. Debate Club. Building Tales of Dragon Slayers. Debate Club. Blood-tainted Greatsword. Building Tales of Dragon Slayers. Fuck you. Weak as hell. Alright. Leave it here for now. It's about half an hour before I'd usually end. But we don't have any more of this content. And that's not enough time to switch games. So, tomorrow, I believe we will be handling the epilogue for Baldur's Gate 3. And that will require us beating the game again. I don't know when the last save is. So either I saved during the last cutscenes, I don't remember if that's the case, or, wrong one, or it'll be midway through the final battle. So we'll be handling that again, seeing the final cutscenes again, and then after the credits, seeing the new epilogue. I don't know how long that will take. I feel like it will be less than my normal stream length. We'll see when I end up finishing. Or when I might even start later, for all I know. Alright, looking at who's playing what. Oh, we haven't played you in quite a while. Let's see. Will you let us? Yes, okay. Kimrai is streaming, playing the new Master Mode. I think it's Master Mode, something like that. Oh, Heroic Mode. Hero Mode? Something like that. for Baldur's Gate 3, actually, which we should be playing tomorrow. It's a new mode they added with this latest patch where there's no saves coming. Apparently there's some sort of reward at the end for it. I could not play that and do not want to play that. We've already beaten the game, so I'm not... We're only diving back in for the epilogue. I probably won't be able to play the game in full again unless it's multiplayer. But if not multiplayer, then it would have to be at least like 5-10 years. So yeah, alright. That is it for Genshin Impact. Tomorrow we'll be handling the epilogue for Baldur's Gate 3, and after that, we will be starting Spider-Man 2. It's 5. I'm excited for that. Alright, well, until next time, this is the Pirate King, signing off. Have a good night.